Hello boys and girls, this is Mr. Kelly. Welcome back. Today we have another book in our background building series about the oceans. And today we're going to be reading about ocean animals working together. Now before we left, we had been talking about teamwork. And teamwork is when people work together. So today our comprehension focus is going to be on making a connection. So when we make a connection, we think about what we're reading, and then we think about how that makes us think about other things in our lives, or sometimes other books we've read. So since we're going to be reading about animals working together, I want you to be thinking in the back of your mind about how people work together also. So let's begin. Parents, as we're making connections, we're trying to intentionally think about ways that what we're reading now remind us of other things that we are aware of. Some animals live together in groups. Like reindeer live in herds and wolves live in packs. So turn to the person sitting next to you. Do you remember why it's important for animals to live together in groups? Pause the video and discuss. Living in groups can benefit animals in many ways. It can make it easier for them to stay safe from predators, get food, and raise their babies. When animals depend on each other to survive, we say they are interdependent. Let's practice that vocabulary word. When animals depend on each other to survive, we say they are interdependent. In the ocean, some fish live together in groups called shoals. When they move together as one big group, they are called a school of fish. How do you think it helps fish to live together in groups? Tell the person sitting with you now, how do you think living in a group helps these fish to live? When one fish in a shoal finds food, the rest follow. With more eyes looking around, fish in shoals find more food working together than each fish would alone. Most importantly, fish groups work together for protection. Predators like sharks get confused and have trouble finding a single fish to eat when looking at a whole group of moving fish. Animals in the whale family, like dolphins, orcas, and these humpback whales, live together in interdependent groups called pods. Living in a pod helps humpback whales hunt. When the leader finds fish, it communicates back to the rest of the pod. Then some whales dive down and blow a ring of bubbles around the fish. The bubbles make it hard for the fish to see. Then the whales swim up towards the surface with their mouths open, catching enormous mouthfuls of fish. Pods of orca whales work together to hunt in a different way. When orcas find a school of fish, the whales herd them into a small area by swimming around them in a circle. Once the fish swim into a tight school, orcas hit them with their tails, stunning the fish. This makes the fish easy to catch. Scientists call this carousel feeding because the orcas swim around the fish like a carousel, going in circles. Living in a pod is also a helpful way to protect and care for babies. Adult dolphins in pods work together to protect the young from predators and teach them how to hunt and communicate. Different kinds of animals can be interdependent too, working together to get food or for protection. Clownfish have an interdependent relationship with sea anemones. Sea anemones are animals that look like plants with stinging tentacles. Almost every ocean animal gets hurt if they're stung by a sea anemone, except for clownfish. The bodies of clownfish are covered with a thick coating that protects them from the sea anemone's sting. This allows clownfish to stay safely nestled in the sea anemone's tentacles and protected from predators. Do clownfish help sea anemones in return? Yes, clownfish help sea anemones find food. Sea anemones can't move easily to find food. Instead, they wait for clownfish to hide inside of them. When predator fish follow, they get stung and the sea anemone gets a meal. Sea anemones have predators too, and clownfish help protect them. Butterfly fish like to eat sea anemones, and clownfish act as protectors by clicking their teeth to scare them away. In other interdependent relationships in the ocean, animals carry other animals with them for defense. The carrier crab carries a spiky sea urchin on its back. The sea urchin protects the crab from predators like a knight's shield. Sea urchins are usually slow movers, so the sea urchin gets to travel on the crab's back to a new area with new food. Both animals benefit. Similarly, this pom-pom crab is holding small, stinging sea anemones in each of its front claws. How do you think it benefits the crab to carry sea anemones? How might the sea anemones benefit from being carried around by a crab? How do you think these animals are working together? Turn and discuss with the person next to you and unpause the video when you're ready to continue. The crab carries a small sea anemone in each front claw to use as a stinging defense against predators. In return, scientists hypothesize that the sea anemones are able to find more food since they get carried to new areas. And when scientists hypothesize something, that is a fancy word to describe when they think that something is true. So scientists think that the sea anemones are able to find more food because they get carried to new places. Many ocean animals work together and depend on each other. So turn to the person sitting with you and let's discuss, what did you learn about ocean animals and how they work together in groups? Discuss with the person next to you and unpause the video when you're ready to continue. Last, let's take a look at our glossary and some of the words that we use today and some of the terms like school of fish we use to describe a bunch of fish that live together. When we talk about whales living and working together, we call them a pod of whales. Here we have dolphins and orca whales and shark, clownfish and sea anemones, crab and shield. So those were some of the new words or the words that we should be able to discuss from reading this book today. So when we started, we said we were going to try to make a connection and try to think about what our reading today reminded us of, or what did our reading today make us think about. So since our book was all about animals working together, I want us all to try to make a connection. In our reading, we saw how animals working together made things better for everybody involved. So what are some ways that people work together to make things better?
Hi there, boys and girls. So now that we've finished reading that book about how ocean animals work together, and we did a little thinking about, how do people work together in the same way? We're trying to make a connection from what we read today and what we already know. So I want you to get out your writing materials, your paper, your pencil, any of the writing tools that you have right now, because we're going to be making some connections and doing a little writing together. So, how do people work together? That's what we're thinking about today, and that's what I want you to try writing about for today's writing. Good luck, have a great day, and I'll be checking in with you guys a little bit later today. Happy Wednesday. Bye.